There's four sections to the surgical table, and you can see there's 4 different sizes on here. So you can pretty much plain touch it, so you just gotta figure out which one goes to which piece. You can see how this one is just flat, there's no divots in it. And if you look right here, this is pretty flat right here. So it actually just fits right into the side. And I usually just get down low, and you can see it right here. There's a little, what would you call it? A little piece, a little lip that kind of curls up and then it latches on. So I'm just gonna tighten that down pretty darn tight. That's why I like to get down here, because the last thing you wanna do is have this come up or walk by it and it jiggles. So you can feel it. I mean, that's pretty darn sturdy. So then it will sit level like that, and now this becomes your new rail. So then you can put your arm board on the side right here, okay? Do remember, be mindful that this is 4 inches. So a typical surgical bed has 2-inch pads. So you have x-ray tops on top, which make it 4. So for some reason, if someone takes these x-ray tops off, your table's gonna be kind of wonky right there. So be mindful of that. That's just like the #1 main thing with this is people don't tighten these down enough, and you'll walk by and a nurse will maybe get it caught on their leg and it will lift up. So you just want to make sure that you're fitting them in the right spot. You guys can probably label them too if that works for you. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections of the surgical table. One thing that I talked to the other staff about was, do you know your leg section comes off? No? Okay.
Well, you can drop it down, right?
You can, but there's 2 divots right here. Can you reach your hand under? You can pull it off. There's little handles right here. I like to drop it down like this so I can see the holes. I can place it in there. And you want to make sure you're covering up that yellow line. I usually walk into cases sometimes and they don't push this on all the way, and it's usually kind of hanging off. So you want to make sure it's clicked into place, give it a little tug. I can only see that green line, so that's perfect. Okay. With this table, it's a smart table, so you can actually lower the leg section down and it won't collide. If it is going to collide, your hand control will say ALS on it, and it will turn orange and it will say ALS, that's auto limit sensor. It knows that it's going to collide, and then it'll tell you what to do. It'll say table up, table down, level out. So it just communicates with you. Another thing that I noticed this morning when I turned on the hand control, you have a slide. So your table can actually slide 9 inches to the head and 9 inches to the foot. So you don't have to unlock the table and scoot it. It automatically slides. But remember that your table has to be center column before you transfer a patient on and off. And you can see right here on the hand control, it says 3 inches. So the table is not center column. It's already kind of maybe up to the head. And that's the way it was this morning. So you just want, so that patient was transferred without it being center column. So just be kind of mindful of that, definitely if you have bigger patients, because it could be a tipping hazard. So I am going level button, will bring you back to center column, and it says 0 now. So now you know it's back to center column. So I'm just going to turn it off. Oh, and somebody said this morning too, she was having a hard time unlocking it. She said that she was holding it like she was tapping this button 3 different times. If you actually hold the button down, it says hold 3 seconds to unlock. I think she was reading it wrong. I think she thought it said push 3 times. So she was having a hard time unlocking it. But now it's unlocked. You can see her little icon. It's an orange little unlock button. And again, you hold it down, it says hold for 1 second, and now your table's locking. Your head section does come off. There's 2 little dials right here. They're kind of backwards, so sometimes if you do righty-tighty and it comes to a stop, it may not be connected all the way. It may be actually the other direction. So this morning when I came and I tugged on it, the head section was off. Oh. It wasn't connected. So you just want to be mindful of that. And there's a lever right here, and it feels like the rail. So if you actually reach your hand right here, you can grab it, and it's only on this side. Grab it really hard. Yep. Pull it in. There we go. It just drops, and then you can drop down the head section if you want, and it goes all the way down. But yeah, yep. And you can bring it back up. So, all kinds of goodies on here that you guys weren't aware of. Your backup hand control is over here. You would pull that out, and I would take it out of the plastic in case you need to use it. And then this is probably gunktified, so I'm not going to touch it. But if you stick your hand underneath there and you pull it out, that's your pump. So if the generator goes out and electricity goes out, everything dies, hold down the button. You want to hold it down, and then you want to pump, 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 pump. Just don't press on it. You gotta give it a good pump. The only thing that will not work is your slide, because that runs off battery. So that you'll probably never, ever, ever, ever use this, but it's good to know.
What was that about?
Just your backup hand control. This is your pump right here. You would reach under and pull it out, and then you would get your backup hand control, and you would hold down the button that you want to articulate the position, and then you would just pump, and it would bring your table back to position.
If the generator.
If the table dies.
Well, that would be kind of important to know.
Holy
macaroni.
The very thing goes out. And what I was saying too is when I came in here, this leg section on this side was off the table a little bit. You want to make sure the green line is showing, not the yellow. So it was kind of like this, just a little bit. So whoever put it back on, it wasn't snapped all the way.
We should probably have a housekeeper in here too.
For cleaning and stuff like that. That's why it's just a good thing, you know, come in here and check, give it a little tug. I remove these during cases, but for the most part, it sounds like you guys have just been putting it down, tucking it under. What I said with the hand control, it's a smart table, so when the leg section does curl under, it won't collide with the column or the base, but it doesn't know if you have accessories or buckets and stuff underneath there. But if it is too low to the ground and you're trying to move the table under, it will stop and it will read ALS on there, and it will start flashing orange, and then it will tell you, move the table up, move it this way, move it that way, so the hand control communicates with you. Back to this real quick, because I know you recorded me on that. There's 4 different sections on the surgical table, and there's 4 different sections, or different lengths, I should say. And this is what I was talking about with your lip. So when you go and tighten it, you want to make sure that's tightened. That's the whole, how it gets held on. People never tighten these tight enough. That's like these are great, but that's the only thing that I always get feedback on is, why aren't they staying on? I'm like, because you're not tightening them down. So it just slides right on in there, like that. And you just give it like nice little, you just tighten it down. When I came in this morning, these rails were all loose. This is not the newest surgical table. It is new, but it has a little bit of wear and tear. I was able to tighten it down with my tools, but I don't know. But if these rails come loose again, you can just ask Biomed. They'll come in here and fix those for you, but they're nice and tight now for you. Questions about these? What I mentioned too was these are 4-inch pads. If you were to take off the x-ray top, this is a 2-inch pad. So be mindful that your x-ray top should stay on, otherwise your table is going to go like that with your pads. Same thing for your head section. It was like this. So this side was loose, the head section was loose. So sometimes these little knobs, if you twist them and you feel like it got a little tight, you're like, oh, okay, that must be it. You just want to give it a little tug.
I don't know if I was late for this or not, but the application, while the straps are on the side, how is that?
You take this off, and then this becomes your new rail.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yep, and this becomes your new armboard rail. So your armboard gets attached to this. These rails disappear, and this becomes your table. So that strap will go right here on one of those.
Now, do you do this after the patient's on or while?
It should be already completed before they even come in the room because
Okay.
you're draping the table.
So then they'll be nice and firm where they won't come apart as you're transferring the patient over.
No, they don't. Yeah, I've never had an incident of putting the patient on the table and it falling off. You just want to make sure that these are actually really connected. But no, you shouldn't have a problem at all. They're nice and sturdy. Plus your table's draped. Yeah, these are basic rails just like this. So your stirrups and everything are gonna go on here. It's gonna be the exact same thing, but I think it's 27 inches now wide compared to whatever a standard table would be. What else? Pretty good, pretty basic, right?
Just for patients that need like bed extenders.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what our system's gonna look like?
You got a nice
Right.
little, yeah, you got a nice little cart. I don't know if they're in order.
For housekeeping and aftercase, do we do all for housekeeping? Do they?
It's up to you guys. That's something that you guys need to establish because this is just, if you know,
I wonder if they know.
you might want to put them away.
Yeah.
Or when you guys are doing your cleanup, just let them know
Okay.
and then they
They
can.
have to be wiped down though.
They have, yeah, they have to be wiped down.
Yeah, so they have to wipe them
If
down.
we take them off and put it in like a drawer, or do they?
No, they can be taught how to do it. Yeah, downstairs the housekeepers do it all the time.
That way you guys know where they're at. Like I think they're gonna be stored. I don't know if they're stored back
Yeah.
there, but that way you guys know where they're at. In case you need it, because you know if your patient's gonna need them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just leave them on the table all the time. But what I was saying too was once you guys figure out which one goes to which piece, which I can do right now for you, you can keep it in order, but it's probably gonna get mixed up. You guys can just get your little
Label maker.
label maker and label it any way you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, but come up with your own method. I see all kinds of stuff when I come into hospitals. They label it all kinds of ways.